Hi everyone, this is Frank
And Patty.
and Patty. We're here to talk about our Boundaries Week for Changes That Heal. We're so glad that you're here watching this video with us. So we wanted to do a skit about boundaries. We wanted to talk a little bit more about what boundaries look like, what's difficult about setting boundaries, because that goes along with our book and our workbook. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about what happens when we have difficulty setting boundaries and what setting healthy boundaries looks like. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll just go ahead and get started and doing this role play.
All right. Okay.
Scene one. Take one. Action.
Hi, Frank.
Oh, hey, Patty. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to stop by your office and tell you something. This weekend, there's about 7 families, and we're going to go down to Cotulla, Texas, to the Cucumber Festival.
Oh,
Would you like to bring your family?
Cucumbers?
Well, of course. They grow. God loves cucumbers, and that's what one of the things Cotulla is known for is their cucumbers. It's a tasting event. You'll love it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'll go to the Cucumber Festival.
Wonderful. Good. You'll enjoy it. It'll be fun.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Okay,
Thanks. I'll
see
tell
you there.
everybody.
All right. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Thanks. So in that scene, if you could not tell, I'm not a big fan of cucumbers, and true story, I'm not a big fan of cucumbers. But sometimes saying no to somebody, which is a boundary, is hard to do. And so we have lots of different reasons why we have difficulty setting boundaries. Sometimes we have a need to please others. Sometimes it's fearing rejection, or we're not going to be accepted, or when we set a boundary that's not okay or that's not healthy. And we've learned that from lots of different ways in our lives. And so ultimately, though, we need to be able to say no to the things that we don't want to do and say yes to the things that we do want to do. That means that we have healthy boundaries.
Mm-hmm. And I did some things during that video scene that I completely ignored and pushed through them. That Frank gave me verbal clues that he was not comfortable. I ignored it, so I crossed over his boundary. He even made faces, and I didn't even respond to that. So that's a clue when I'm crossing over a boundary.
Mm-hmm. So not only do we have to make sure that we're able to say no when we want to say no, set boundaries of things that we will do or we won't do, but there might be other people that we're violating their boundaries by maybe asking them to do something they don't want to do. We recognize that they don't want to do it, but we just continue on, and
Right.
we encourage or force or pressure or whatever it might be. So it goes both ways.
I thought I could fix it by talking to you. That I could convince you. I was trying to fix you, Frank.
That cucumbers were fantastic, and I just won't buy into that. I just won't buy into that. So we have some distorted thinking that maybe people will leave me for having boundaries. We talk about this in the book, in the workbook, and we also learn that there are issues that arise. There are symptoms that arise when we fail to set healthy boundaries. And so if you haven't gotten to that part in the book and workbook yet, I really encourage you to read those pages because they're really helpful. So let's try this scene again. This time I'm going to try to do a better job of setting healthy boundaries. Okay?
All right. Take 2. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Patty. How are you?
What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything this weekend. I'm just kind of taking it easy this weekend, hanging out with family.
Well, wonderful. There's a group of us up here that we're going to take our families, and we're going to go down south to Cotulla to a cucumber festival, and we would love for you and Tamara and the kids to come.
You know, I really appreciate you thinking of me and inviting me and our family to that cucumber festival. I would love to hang out with everybody. Yeah, I'd love to hang out with everybody, but unfortunately, I'm really not a big fan of cucumbers, so I don't think it would be really enjoyable for me or my family. So I think we're going to have to pass this time. But if you go to the strawberry festival, hey, I'll be all up for
So
doing that.
you're ready for Poteet,
right,
just not
yes.
Cotulla.
That's right.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for being honest with me.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome,
you.
and thank you for inviting me.
Okay.
Thanks, Patty.
Bye.
Bye. So again, we have the ability to set boundaries. It doesn't
Right.
mean that I don't want to spend time with Patty and our coworkers. It just means that's just not an event or something that I'd really be interested in doing. And so I can say no. It's okay to say no to things. And so for this week, what we thought would be kind of neat, kind of like an application of what we're learning with boundaries in our book, in our workbook, is challenging everybody to pray to see what God is asking you to do as it relates to setting a boundary. Maybe there's a boundary at work or at home, or a personal boundary that you've been meaning to set, that's been difficult for you. Maybe it's a small step. We're challenging everybody to take a step to set a boundary this week that maybe has been difficult for them to do, and come back to group on July 11th, the following week, to share how that went. So we hope that that's a really cool assignment. I'm really excited to see what people experience through that. And I'm sure your groups are excited to share what they're experiencing as well.
That's right. And I've already thought of mine. God put it on my heart, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's going to be hard for me because it's interrupting. And that is a boundary buster. And I'm really going to have to work on that with my husband.
Okay.
So there you go. I've set it on camera, so now I've got to be responsible.
That's right.
God told me.
She's accepting some accountability.
Yes.
She's
Yes.
allowing people to know that she's got this plan in place. So, all right. Well,
All right.
happy 4th of
Happy
July.
4th of July.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi everyone. Frank Kirby and
Jeannie Postel.
here just chatting with you a little bit about bonding this week. So we're not going to be meeting for 4th of July. We hope everybody has a great 4th of July. But we thought having a video on bonding, some of the difficulties with bonding, maybe like a role play, a skit of what difficulty bonding might look like, could be helpful. And then we'll have a challenge question at the end of our video today. So let's watch this role play on maybe some difficulty bonding.
All right, take a look. See what you see.
Hey Jeannie, how are you today?
Oh, hi Frank.
Any plans this weekend?
No.
No? 4th of July is coming up. Anything planned for 4th of July?
No, not really.
No? Oh, well, my family has a tradition that we go out. There's this parking lot that we go out to every 4th of July. It overlooks the city. We can see all of these fireworks. We get some ice cream, and we just have a great time just hanging out and just watching the fireworks. Any traditions like that for your family?
No, I don't think so.
No? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, would your family be interested in coming with us to our 4th of July?
Well, I don't know. I guess I could see.
Okay. All right. Well, it was nice chatting with you. Not really.
Did you
Not
believe
really,
that?
So
awkward.
it may have been as uncomfortable to watch as it was for me asking Jeannie some of these questions. And
Sorry, Frank. Do I need to apologize? It was
Yeah.
very unfriendly.
It was very uncomfortable. So if we were talking, if Jeannie and I, if this was the first conversation we'd ever had, it might seem uncomfortable, right? Somebody inviting you to their family's 4th of July tradition, it might
She's a
seem really
friendly guy.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if this is Jeannie and I have known each other for years, and this is how she would respond, it would look like she's having a really hard time bonding or connecting. I'm trying to be authentic or trying to be vulnerable, trying to get her to we want to connect, we want to have a closer relationship, and she's being distant, or when I think of it in football terms, like getting a stiff arm, like you're just getting
That's
rejected almost, right?
So obviously, even just looking at my body language and the way I was so uncomfortable, there was something there that I wasn't feeling safe enough, or perhaps it was something just internal with me that was keeping me from wanting to share who I was, or even anything about my life, even for this one weekend with Frank. So I know you've been reading, and we've been discussing in our groups some of the things that are barriers that keep us from connecting with one another. So I want you to be thinking about that, even as you saw me, a person like this. And I have a history of being really a pretty shy person, so actually could do this as a younger person pretty well. What was going on with me at that time? What are some of the reasons that keep us from engaging and keep us, physically turned away, but also emotionally just kind of shut off from the other person. So those are some of the things to be thinking about this week about yourself.
Right, right. Because what we know from what we're reading in the book, in the workbook, is that there are symptoms of not bonding with others. Some of those symptoms being depression, distorted thinking, even addiction. That when we're isolated, that we're more likely to go into those unhealthy symptoms and characteristics. So there's an importance there to bond. And so taking steps towards bonding with others can be difficult because, like what Jeannie was saying, there's lots of reasons why we have difficulty bonding. But this week, we're going to ask you to take a challenge step. We're going to ask you to take a step toward bonding with somebody else. And maybe it's just something small, something you're going to be have an authentic conversation with somebody. Maybe it's rescheduling your schedule to prioritize time with friends or family or somebody to have that authentic conversation with that maybe you've been meaning to have with somebody.
So a good idea is to just pray, ask the Lord, who is it in your life that you maybe have had some sort of, you've been drawn to them in some way, someone who you would like to get to know better. Perhaps they've made some motions towards you to try and invite you somewhere or do something with you. Respond to them. Try something a little different this week. That's our challenge for you.
Mm-hmm. Using the skills from pages 82 to 86 in your book to take those steps. And so, yeah, just as Jeannie was saying, praying and asking God where He's calling you, what He's asking you to do. And then after you take that step, our challenge is for you to bring that to your group next week on July 11th, to share with the group what that experience was like. What did you do and how did it go? And I'm sure there's going to be some pretty cool stories to come out of all of this.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to hearing. And be prepared. It might not go exactly as planned. So just relax, take a chance, try something small, as Frank was saying, and come back and share it with your group.
Well, that's it. I hope you guys have a great 4th of July.
Yeah, he's going to have fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we will go, after all. Maybe that'll be my challenge. We'll go with Frank's family to those fireworks.
That's funny. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
God bless you.